All right, we are going to review the 2024 State of AI in Marketing report today. This is going to give you insights on exactly what marketers are doing both inside real estate and outside of it so that you can serve your clients at the highest level.
Welcome to Real Estate AI Flash, the podcast dedicated to real estate professionals to demystify AI and give you practical strategies that you can apply to your business today. I'm your co-host, Rajeev Sajak.
And the other co-host, Jimmy Burgess, and we are excited for you to be a part of this. If you haven't had a chance yet, make sure you go out and that you subscribe to the podcast. Also, we would really appreciate if you could leave us a review. It helps us spread the message that as a real estate community, we are stronger together. Now let's get to this episode.
Well, this is a special episode, Jimmy, because I got a chance to attend a 2024 State of Marketing AI report that surveyed 1,800 people that were in marketing, in content marketing, email marketing, social media marketing, all roles that appeal to real estate agents. And I wanted to, you and I are going to dissect the 6 takeaways that apply to real estate agents from that report. And we'll include the report in the show notes as well, so you can dive into it.
Yeah, this was one of those two. When you first mentioned this to me, I was like, this is going to be just a treasure trove of information. And what I love is as someone that is always trying to do this, is I love looking at not just the marketing things that are being done in real estate, but what are the trends we're seeing outside of real estate that we can bring into real estate? And some of these are, as you and I first talked about this, it really does apply here. What was the quote that you mentioned to me that it just really hit home for me because it just kind of gave me a little comfort, I guess you could say, maybe?
Yeah. So the key takeaway, I know we have 6 that are coming up, but the high level takeaway quote was AI technology is advancing at an exponential rate, while most people that are learning AI are moving at a linear rate. So nobody's keeping up. So it got you comfort. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, no, that was encouraging to me because there are times where I know you and I are trying to stay on top of this and times where I just get busy for just a few days and I look back and I'm like, wow, I just didn't even know that was available. And it just is moving so quick. So hopefully this will give some comfort to people. I know that what we're going to talk about is going to give some actionable steps and really some great insights that they can apply in their business. So let's get right into it, Rajeev. What are we going to start with as far as our first point?
So the first takeaway is AI adoption and understanding of AI is on the rise year over year. Just because it's so much in the news, people are reading stuff. So they're getting comfortable with AI. I think that's a good comfort place to start with the first key finding. I think it was 55% year over year growth in adoption and understanding of AI, which is a good thing because I think that's where we're headed as an industry and as a society as well.
Yeah, I would say those that are listening to this podcast is a perfect example. This didn't just happen. You're interested in this, you're wanting to learn more, and we're going to do our best to give you that information. So from that standpoint, that trend really does kind of what we're seeing where I know the emails that you and I get jointly, I can't even imagine the ones that you're getting, but with information and questions about AI, it just shows the curiosity. And a lot of times what happens is you have to first know about something, then you have to get curious about it, and then you have to become a student of it. And I think we're moving from knowing to curiosity in a lot of cases to that actual knowing and learning this stuff. So great. What's the second point that you took away and the takeaway you have?
The second one was 80% of people that were surveyed said saving time with AI is the number one outcome they've experienced with AI. And which means repetitive tasks. As an agent, we do certain things. When you get a buyer, there are repetitive tasks. Listings, there are repetitive tasks you do. And the quote, this is outside of the podcast I was on, the quote was, automate the ordinary so you can personalize the extraordinary.
That's good.
And when we talk about, after all, our business is human. So if you can automate all of the back end stuff, you can spend more and build more memorable experiences with our clients. I think it validated that. But you got to find those tasks that you can actually save time with AI. And that's where many of our episodes come in as well. So that's a key takeaway, finding number 2.
You want to share that example that you gave me? Because I thought it was so good right before we came in on some of the things that we're doing.
We started aggregating all our listings that are active in the MLS, Jimmy, this morning as we were doing this recording. And we were trying to get the address, the MLS number, and the buyer agency compensation available for these listings in the MLS. But one of these MLSs only gave us PDFs of the entire agent full sheet. And in 5 offices, there was like about 100 listings. So it was a 100-page PDF that we pulled. And I was almost resigned to the fact that I'm going to have to type this stuff in, but I've embraced an AI first mindset. Can AI help me with this? Is always a question I started asking myself. And I simply uploaded that PDF to ChatGPT and I gave it the template of what I wanted. I said I needed the address, street address, city, zip in 3 columns, MLS number in a 4th column, and buyer agency compensation percentage in this 5th column, and build it in a table form and give it to me in a CSV. And voila, 2 minutes later, I had it and I saved myself 3 hours.
Think about that. 3 hours of savings, one little change there. And so I think it does play into this thinking from an AI first mentality. So that's a real life example. I think these are things that as agents be thinking about. What are some of the tasks that are just repetitive for you? What are some of those tasks, that maybe you do that just can be taken away? Because once you start focusing in on this, I know for me, I did this a couple weeks ago. I was just curious, what did I do that week? And I kind of kept a journal of these things that I did AI wise and an estimation of how much time it saved me. In that 1 week, I think I gained almost 10 hours in that 1 week. And that was just me just taking notes for that 1 week just to kind of see. I mean, you start thinking about that. That's like getting an extra week for the month worth of efficiency. So yes, absolutely. This is such good stuff. And I think, again, it's just applying and starting to use this and moving from that place of knowing about it, getting curious about it, and actually utilizing the technology. So what about takeaway 3?
Takeaway 3 was around tools that are the most popular across marketers, AI tools. And the top 2, number 1 is no shocker. ChatGPT is number 1.
Right.
And number 2 was Perplexity, which is, and for those of you that are listening to this episode, next week or very soon, we're going to launch a 9 must-have AI apps. And those 2 have made the list as well for our 9. So it sort of synergizes with that. So Perplexity being the second most popular.
You know what? It's interesting too. Like we were talking about that process, ChatGPT should be where everybody starts. Easy to use, free version. There's options there. Perplexity is kind of a little bit of a next level deal. I mean, that's what you're using a lot of, obviously. So I think it's a natural progression that we're seeing with those things. And in reality, we talk about all these specific AI tools that you can utilize. But if you'll start there, you'll be amazed at how quickly it'll move you into some other options. So, all right, let's go to the next takeaway.
Yeah, the next takeaway is only 34% of people, organizations, or companies have generative AI policies. Like when to use it, when not to use it, and really taking a human-centered approach to AI, because AI is not supposed to replace you. It's supposed to replace some of the tasks you're doing so you can actually more humanize your business more. And only 34% of people have some kind of a policy or a structure around it, which is still a growth from 2023, but that's still a small number. And it also touched on the vast majority of them. This is going into takeaway number 5, and I'll have you react to it. Very few folks have an AI first mindset. Mm-hmm. Right. Like we talked on a previous episode about when you're going on a vacation, do something you've not done. Some mental fortitude, stuff like that, mental muscle memory. You talk about. And we use Perplexity to plan our vacation versus using Google. So I think taking an AI first approach, you tend to learn if it works or not, so you get more advanced with AI. And I think that was also a key takeaway that we touched on a little earlier. AI first.
Hey, from a standpoint of an organization's policy, explain that a little bit more. Obviously, Fox & Rich is a large organization. Tell me what that looks like for you guys, because I think sometimes the small organization or the agent that's listening to this sometimes is wondering, how do I apply that in my position? What does that look like for you guys? Because I think it's a great framework.
Yeah. So a typical policy structure talks about don't use confidential data, right? They talk about the whole thing about data. There's also a whole thing about never take a lift and shift mindset. You created an AI, but you have to still review it, humanize it, make sure it passes your human filter. We did an episode on responsible AI. So it's all of those things coming together. And the policy document doesn't have to be a 100-page document. It's literally, in our case, it's like a 2-3 pager that gives you the right framework. When to AI, when not to AI. Even if you do use AI, how do you sort of bring your human element so whatever you put out is stellar that your clients expect?
No, that's great. That is really good. Yeah, and I think we touched on having that AI first mentality. I think if you're an agent and you're listening to this, if you could just apply this for a week, it will change your business. In other words, every single task you're doing is, how could AI help me with this? Is there a way that AI can help me with this? If you'll ask that question for 1 week, it will build so much efficiency in your business. And it's just like everything else. The more you repeat it, if you do it for a week, what we're seeing is you're going to start seeing that just be a natural go-to. So what's the next takeaway?
Well, this is the final takeaway, Jimmy. You know, the thing that was the biggest takeaway for me is that AI, we talked about that quote, exponential growth AI is seeing, and we're learning at a linear. And most organizations have not really set up an education and a training plan to educate their real estate agents, employees alike, so that they can get comfortable with AI. And so on that note, my biggest takeaway was to launch a Real Estate AI Academy. This is breaking news on the podcast.
Yes,
Real Estate AI Academy this fall that will give you a certification. You'll learn all the practices we're talking about. And for you, those of you that are listening and you want to get an email note when it's live, make sure you go to realestateaiflash.com/academy and you will be able to sign up and you'll be the first to know. And we'll give you a first mover's advantage in terms of a discount for the Academy, because I think Academy is so neat, and it's a lifetime membership to the Academy so that when course 2 changes, you can go in there and take it. And it's an online repository of everything you need to be proficient with AI.
Yeah, look, this is the thing is it's hard to teach something unless you know it. And let's be real, most smaller brokerages or brokerages, even with some size and scope like yours, and you know, even ours is a smaller one compared to yours, we're at a place where it's just hard to know everything. And so I think of it this way. I can talk a little bit about social media, but I still have outside people come in and speak to our agents on social media. So from this standpoint, this is something that obviously you're into every day. I'm into every day. What we want this academy to be is something that provides agents with a one-stop place that they can get all the information they need to immediately start saving and having some of those efficiencies where they can serve their clients at a higher level. So yes, absolutely. And there will be that discount code because listen, we need your story as much as we need those sales. So we want to have some people that will have some successes. And so make sure you go sign up for that, and we'll let you know in advance where you can kind of get a little bit of a preview of it before anybody else as well.
Yeah, and we'll include the links to all the show notes in the show notes with the report link that we talked about, as well as the Academy link as well.
That sounds great. Listen, I know that this has been of value to you. These trends are giving you a hint to what is to come. Focus in on having that AI first mentality. And then also when you're thinking about this, how do I apply these situations in my business? Utilizing the most popular ChatGPT, going on to Perplexity. Make sure you're utilizing these trends to work well in your business. And I promise your business is going to grow at the level and at the pace that you will grow in your knowledge of AI. Hope this has been helpful, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
This podcast has been produced by TSC Studios. Music is courtesy of Soundstripe. Audio and video editing is provided by Noah Escobar. Graphic design by Melinda McKnight. And special thanks to Jordan Wilson of Your Everyday AI for the inspiration and expertise.